Hi everybody, my name is Shannon and this is my very first video on my brand new YouTube channel. So please bear with me, I am freaking out about doing something like this. So, a little bit about myself. I am a HBCU graduate. I worked in corporate America. I've traveled different places. I am currently married and a stay-at-home mom of 2 boys under 2 years old. No, under 3 years old. So, that's a little bit about me. So, the purpose of this channel is for me sort of to share life lessons I've learned throughout my life and to hopefully help others get through those, prepare for those, or just be someone that you just want like an outside perspective on a situation. I'll be happy to help. So with that being said, I started a brand new Instagram channel called Being Shannon Dora that I will be posting things periodically, different topics that if you guys want to hear about that or my thoughts or what's going on, or if you're going through something and you just want to know, hey, how would you handle this situation? Or I'll be happy to help. If you want to be anonymous, you can send me a DM and I'll be happy to answer. And then if I address it here, I'll keep you completely anonymous and I'll be as general as possible so that way no one will guess what's going on with you. So that's the purpose of this. And so let me get into my very first topic that I want to talk about, and it is house buying process. I purchased this house currently with my husband about going on 3.5 years, and I had purchased before, he had purchased before, but we were both young. I was in college. My parents got a condo and we sort of rented out since then. We still own it. I would love to sell it, but we still own it. But during that time, I just sort of signed my name. I really wasn't involved in what was going on. This time I was very much involved and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I know this beforehand? I should have known this. My parents are in real estate. I worked in their company. My parents have been in real estate for over 35 years and counting. So I'm like, why didn't I know some of this stuff? But then some things I did know. So with that being said, let's get into it. So if you're thinking about buying a house, here are the 9 tips that I sort of want to pass along. The first one is start saving. Even before you start talking to anybody, just start putting money in a savings account. Just start saving for a down payment. The more money you have to put down, the better. So typically to avoid all the extra interest and insurance, you want to put down 20%. But not everybody has 20%. So let's be for real. But like I said, start saving as much as you can. If your company has profit sharings that you can use, 401k, you can actually borrow against your 401k for a down payment for a house without the tax penalties. Now you do have to pay the money back, but you can borrow against it without tax penalty. So that's one thing to help you out. So if you have a job now that offers 401k and especially company matching, start putting money aside for that. So that way you know, well, at least this is going to help me contribute to me buying a house. Number 2 is know what you can afford. Right now, if your rent is $800 a month and you're tight with that, don't go looking for a house that's going to give you a $1,300 mortgage. You will be house broke and you don't want that. So sort of budget how much you have right now, how much you spend for bills that aren't going to change, like your car insurance. If you have a car payment, you sort of know what you're going to be spending a month. So take a look at what it is and say, how much can I afford? Can I stretch a little bit further, or do I need to stay in the same range? Know that. Or one thing that sort of helped us out now that we weren't really preparing for is, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, we're a one-income family. So if you are buying a house with someone and you think that that might be your future, maybe know how tight it's going to be when you're down to one income. So if you know right now you're both gravy with this and it's okay if one person can take care of all those bills, great. But if you can't, then you start to say, all right, let's think about this for a minute. So that's number two. And then before you even look at a house again, first thing you want to do is talk to a lender. You can go to your bank, you can go to a credit union. There are mortgage brokers out there. Just sort of talk to them. They'll run your credit, and they'll take a look at things to see maybe where you stand, things that you may need to work on so you can even get approved. And I did this maybe 10 months before we were actually ready to buy a house. I had them run both my husband and I's credit. We weren't married at the time, but we had them run each other's credit just to see what needed to be immediately addressed. Especially if you had like anything surprise come up on your credit report that you weren't aware, or if you thought something was already taken care of, it still could be on your credit report. So you want to get all those things taken care of as soon as possible. So that way they kind of tell you like, well, you could afford this, but if you take this off, we might be able to stretch a little bit more, whatever. They'll talk to you about that. And that's, of course, tip number 4 is make sure your credit is in order. I have better credit than my husband. So at the time, we were going to just put the mortgage in my name. I could get a better rate because of my credit score. So we were just working through that process, and that was the initial plan. But then things can change. And what I say about that is, like I mentioned before, my parents bought a condo with my name on it. And that was like the biggest headache, dealing with that. And the reason for that is my parents claimed the condo on their taxes, but I was collecting the rent and paying all the bills for it. So as far as the bank was concerned, I was responsible for all the debt for the condo, but I did not get any credit for the rental income because my parents were actually claiming on their taxes. So unless you're doing the taxes and collecting the rent, both parties, then you'll get the sort of offset and it wouldn't count against you. However, in my case, it counted against me. So then I couldn't get qualified for, the house mortgage that I wanted because I told them, for me, I'm like, I only want to pay a certain amount of money. I didn't care how much I got approved for. I just thought I didn't want my mortgage more than this. So in order for me to get like a nice place and be able to afford it, this condo was such a headache. I could not get around it. So what ended up happening is we got my husband's credit up just in the nick of time so that way he could be on the mortgage as well. So like I said, we were down to the wire as far as when we actually got through the process and found out how this condo was going to affect me. So those are things to think about, especially if you already own another property. And then number 5 is no big purchases. When you've actually decided that, okay, we're going to look for a house, we're going to talk to a realtor, we know what we can approve for, we know what we want to area, all that. Don't go buying a car. Don't go opening up a new line of credit. Avoid it. I don't care if your car is on 2 wheels. Do not buy another car, especially if you're going to have a car payment. Now, if you have the cash to pay it outright and you have no car payment, by all means, help yourself. But if you got to have a car payment, do not buy another car because buying a car will hurt you getting a house. However, getting a house won't hurt you getting a car. The way that works is crazy. They just don't want to see any new debt coming in or anything you're going to be responsible for. So wait until you have signed the dotted line, that you have the keys in your possession, and then, okay, all right, now I'm going to get a car. But do not do it before. No new lines of credit when you're trying to buy a house. And also, try not to change jobs. I know it can be hard. Some things are out of our control. And it can be worked around. Let's say if you're going into the same sort of industry. For instance, I used to be an accountant. So if I was going from one accountant job to the next accountant job, it wouldn't be so bad. I mean, they would still want income verification and all that. However, but if you're going from, let's say, an accountant to now you want to follow your dream and be an actress, yeah, that's going to be a little bit difficult because they want to see the steady flow of income. They want to see that you're well established in this, so that way, you're not going to lose the house. So by all means, try your best to just stay put if you can help it. Some things are beyond our control. If you can, just don't go anywhere. Stick out your job, whether you hate it, stick it out until you buy the house. And then the next thing is, like I mentioned before, owning other properties can be very difficult. So like I said before, just make sure if you do own another property, please, this is my biggest headache. Make sure you're able to claim it on your taxes, or if you can't claim it, you have nothing to do with the rental income, is not coming in your account. There's no account that has your name on it to show that you're responsible for any of that. It's just like, oh, that's over there. I have nothing to do with it. So with that, that's what I wish I had learned that lesson. I wish I was not collecting the rent for it by any means. But it was just easy. It was just a bank account. That's the only reason why I was collecting it. So please, 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 if you can, talk to somebody, especially about that, of how that may hurt you. And then also remember, it's a lot of paperwork. You will constantly be giving them the same information over and over again. And they just want to make sure there's no big surprises and everything seems the same. So for us, we bought the house after we got married, and we didn't really want, as far as the gifts for the wedding, household items. We had plenty of stuff because the company I did work for was like a major department store, so I used to get a lot of stuff on discount. So I didn't need anything at the time. So we just had people sort of contribute as a monetary donation because we were saving up for a house. So with that being said, if you have anyone giving you any money, especially like graduation gifts, birthday gifts, wedding, and it's like little small amounts, a bunch of deposits of small amounts. If you say you got married within the last month and then you go give them your last 2 months your bank statements, they're going to see all these little deposits and they're going to like, who gave you this money? Where did this come from? And you say, oh, they were just gifts. They will make you sign a letter for each one of those deposits to say that this is a gift and I want nothing to do with the house. And that is a major headache. So don't do that. What you want to do is deposit the money and then maybe wait 2 to 3 months. Let the money just sit there. Don't touch it. It's already in there. So that way, when you give the bank this information, they don't see like a bunch of different deposits. They probably will just see your paycheck going in there, which is fine. They won't question it. But like I said, if you have a bunch of small deposits and gifts from people, you do not want to have to reach out to everyone and say, please sign this letter that you gave me $50 on my birthday that you do not want any part of my house. So silly, but yes. So be prepared for that. And then the last tip, number 9, is just be patient. Try to enjoy the process. Like, it can be very overwhelming, especially trying to get the loan approval and looking for the right house, and you're not seeing the right area. Just enjoy it. In the evening, if it's just you or for you and someone else, find houses. Oh, I like this, I like that. I like this decorating idea. Sort of save it and just enjoy it. See a house, write down what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and move on to the next place. And then hopefully the right place will come along. And if you've done all these other steps to prepare, it shouldn't be such a long process. You should be like, oh, I like this house. We've already prepared for it. Let's just sign our name and we can close. So with that being said, those are the things that I wish I knew about or had better prepared for, or I was happy I did prepare for them when buying a house. So if there's anything else you guys want to know about, any questions about what I went through for this, anything, please send me a comment down below or follow me on my new Instagram channel @BeingShannonDora. And also, if you like this, please subscribe. So see you guys later.